So who would be my picks for the championship team of the season this year? Let's find out. What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today what I thought I'd do, I'd go through my picks for the championship team of the season. Now the team of the season so far in FIFA 20 was so disappointing last year. We only had 9 championship players get a team of the season card. 9, which is absolutely pathetic in my opinion. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do a full starting 11 of players who I think deserve to get team of the season. I'm also going to do 7 substitutes and 5 reserves. So in total, we have 23 players getting a team of the season card. But I'm also going to show 2 other special cards, which I really want to see as well. If you guys like what you want to see more FIFA prediction content, please make sure you do give this video a like, tremendously appreciated. If we can hit to 500 subscribers as soon as we can, that will be terrifically appreciated. You guys have shown an incredible response. We've got to keep that going. And please share my channel as well. All of that would really make my day. But without any further ado, let's reveal the players I want to have a team of the season card. So for what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go through the 2 players who I think can get a different special card first. Then I'll go through the reserves, then the subs, and then I'll go through my starting 11 at the end. The first card I want to throw in there that I really want to see is a flashback SBC for Charlie Austin. I would really like to see that. I think he deserves it with the impact he's had when he's come in for Queen's Park Rangers. It's a shame at the moment he's now injured, but when he was in, he was an instant impact to this Queen's Park Rangers squad, and by his momentum, I think naturally that is how Queen's Park Rangers had given themselves a big lift. Without him, maybe Queen's Park Rangers could be fighting in a relegation battle. I think he definitely deserves this card. It would have definitely brought back good memories of when he was scoring in his first stint at Queen's Park Rangers and with the other Premier League clubs he's been to like West Brom and Southampton. I think he deserves one. The final card I actually want to throw into the mix is a Future Stars card, and I want to see João Pedro get that. Now, there are so many young talents in the championship, but a lot of them actually do have a team of the season card. But João Pedro, 19 years of age, younger than me, the start he had for Watford was incredible. He was injured for quite a fair bit this season, but for what I've seen him, I think we can see a huge amount of potential with him, and he's been a big reason of why Watford are where they are. So I think he deserves a Future Stars or another special card of sorts, but I can definitely see a lot of potential going from this João Pedro card. So we start off with reserves. One player I really want to get a team of the season card is Joe Jacobson. I know his club Wycombe right now are rock bottom, but in terms of fullbacks goes, for me, he's in contention to be the top 3, maybe even the top 2 best fullbacks I've seen this season in the championship. He by far has the most goal contributions for Wycombe, with 9 goal contributions in total, including 6 assists, which is pretty good for a fullback as well. I don't think a team of the season card will be too harmful to him, to be honest. I think he really deserves one. Next player that deserves a team of the season card for me is Freddie Woodman. Now you'd think, why on earth is he not starting and not even on the bench? But you cannot deny when he's been important, he's been very important, making some really key saves. But I think a big reason to why Swansea have not conceded too many goals is down to their defence alongside of the goalkeeper. The other 2 goalkeepers I have included ahead of him, for me, have done a lot more to keep their teams in the game, but also with a better save percentage. So that is why Freddie Woodman doesn't quite make the bench and the starting 11, but there's no way I'm not going to include him because I think defensively Swansea have been really good this season. Another player who I think deserves a team of the season card is Nick Powell. I think for Stoke especially, he has been their talisman. He's been the player that Stoke players have been going to pretty recently to try and make things happen. And if I'm going to be honest with you, if you look at the rest of the squad, for how underwhelming Fletcher was, how underwhelming Jacob Brown was, I think Nick Powell's been heavily relied upon in terms of this Stoke squad. But I think with the performances he's put on the pitch, I think he does deserve to get this card. The next reserves player for me is Elias Chair. Now, I did originally have him in my starting 11, but I've made a last-minute change. I want to put him there because I genuinely think he's one of the more underrated players that normally people consider him to be in the top level. For me, when you've seen him at Queen's Park Rangers, the amount he has stepped up, him and Brighterside Samuel this season have been absolutely incredible. The final reserve is Gustavo Hamer. I definitely think for Coventry, he deserves a team for season card. in contention to being one of the better transfers that Coventry have made, and in fact of the whole championship, to be honest with you. I think he's really taken the lead by storm, really given a lot of determination. He's got a good amount of goal contributions as well. His role on the pitch is absolutely fantastic. His leadership and just in general with his work ethic and the passing he can do as well is second to none. We now go to the bench. So the goalkeeper for the bench for me is Asmir Begovic. I have included him ahead of Freddie Woodman. It was literally neck and neck between those two. But for me, Begovic has made more notable, really match-winning saves for me. He saved a couple of penalties as well. I remember that penalty save he made recently against Blackburn. Some of the reflex saves was absolutely ridiculous, and I think he does deserve a Team of the Season card. The next player with a Team of the Season card for me is Ovi Ejaria. It's crazy for me, I can't even fit Ejaria on it, but definitely with his dribbling, and maybe not compared to last season. I actually think last season he was a bit better than what he is now. But even then, even though he wasn't as good as last season, in my honest opinion, I think he's still Reading's top 2, top 3 most important players in terms of how the side works. The confidence, the passing, and just the technical ability. I remember the touch he had where he scored his goal against Barnsley a couple of weeks back. I mean, it's so difficult to do, and he made it look easy. I think he does deserve a Team of the Season card. The youngest player to get a Team of the Season card for me at the moment is Harvey Elliott. He's actually got the second most assists out of any Championship player this season. I think only Emiliano Buendia has more assists than Harvey Elliott. It's just a bit of a shame for me. I think because he's a young player and he's still learning his trade, sometimes he can be a little bit inconsistent. But when I have seen him play, for me, one of the more creative players that Blackburn do have. And unfortunately, I just think he's been underutilised, and Blackburn have just not fulfilled him with his full potential. Paddy McNair is a defender, which I think does deserve a Team of the Season card. A bit underrated in my opinion. Not many people put him in the starting 11s of many games. He sort of reinvented himself, because I remember Paddy McNair as more of a midfield, a bit more of an outfield player. But he's moved down to a centre-back with Neil Warnock's tactics of being very tight and robust at the back. And I have to say, that move for him was a revelation. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. Kiefer Moore is another player for me that does deserve the Team of the Season card. He's had to go in from Wigan to Cardiff. A lot of expectation with him being the #1 striker now. I know he's had a goal drought recently, which is a shame. And I think he has had an injury recently, which I think is why he's struggling to get the same bit of sharpness. But when I've seen him, especially at the start of the season, and also when Mick McCarthy first started going into Cardiff, honestly, one of the better strikers in the Championship. For me, he does deserve a Team of the Season card. Timo Pukki, what else can I say? He does deserve a Team of the Season card. Maybe not as convincing as he was in the 2018-19 season, where he was top goal scorer with 29 goals. But either way, this season he scored 25 goals. And because he's had that incredible season, I think a lot of people are quick to judge him for the fact that he's not reaching the same numbers. But either way, he's still got up to 5 games left. He could even overtake his total of 29 goals, and he still may not get top goal scorer, which just goes to show how stacked the strikers are in terms of their fantastic talent this year. The final player on the bench for me is Connor Roberts. Now, unfortunately, I've not been able to fit a single Swansea player in their back line. Freddie Woodman and Connor Roberts are actually going to be the only Swansea players, no spoilers there. But for me, I needed to include someone in that back line, because at the start of the season, Swansea's back line was impenetrable. Maybe not as impenetrable as it is now, but in the beginning part, it was unbelievably good. And I think Connor Roberts was a really important part. So that's all the reserves, bench, and the special cards done. Now let's go on to my Team of the Season starting 11. So the goalkeeper for me is Tim Krul. Now, Tim Krul for me, I think has been pretty consistent all season. There's only been 1 or 2 notable moments where I felt Tim Krul has made a bit of a mistake, and I think all goalkeepers at some stage of the season are going to have a howler. But in terms of goalkeepers for me, I think he's been the most consistent. He's got the highest save percentage out of any goalkeeper in the Championship as well. And that for me answers everything that he does deserve to be in the starting 11 for the team for season. So for the defenders, I've gone for a back 4. The left back option for me is Harry Toffolo. There was a couple in that left back position that do have a shout, but for me, I'm going to give it to Harry Toffolo for how important he has been when he has been in Huddersfield's starting 11. He's really been a real big influence in terms of getting goal opportunities and creating goals as well. I think for the player that can do attack and defend, then I think you get a solid left back in your hands. and Toffolo can do that. So for me, Toffolo does deserve to be in the starting 11. The right back position for me has to go to Max Aarons. I think especially in the second half of the season, he's really come out his shell. He's really been really good in that right hand side, charging forward and creating the opportunities like what you want from a fullback, and he tracks back well as well. He's unbelievably quick, meaning he can transition from attack and defense very seamlessly. For me, the right back position goes to Max Aarons. So the two central defenders, the first one for me, I'm going to include Mads Andersen. He has played every single game for Barnsley this season, and he's been a big reason of why Barnsley have not been conceding too many goals, especially in the second half of the season. He has been so solid, and not only that, he gets goal contributions as well. I think in total he's had up to 6 goal contributions as a centre-back. For how consistent he's been all game, I think Mads Andersen is definitely a centre-back that does deserve a team for season, and he'll be my starting 11. To accompany him is Grant Hanley. Now, I criticised Grant Hanley a little bit, especially actually when he was in the Premier League, really. A lot of Norwich fans, I've heard that Hanley was like their third choice centre-back or whatever, and now was the time where they still had the likes of Ben Godfrey in their squad. But to be fair to Hanley, when I have seen him this season, he's proved a lot of people wrong. He has got the odd mistake in him, I am wary of that. But overall, consistently, he has been so solid and very switched on. And he's got a real good leadership about him as well, which has really impressed me more than anything this season. Now we move on to the midfield position. Some players are out of position, but I have to include them in. The first midfielder I'm going to include is Michael Olise. He has to be in. As a 19-year-old, he's been absolutely incredible for Reading this season. Even more so than Ajaria, in my opinion, and I think both of them are quite similar in quality. Even when Reading lost in their last game against Watford, that run he did 30 minutes in to get past 3 or 4 players, a Watford side who have conceded the less goals in the Championship, and just the way he just dribbled past them and ghosted past them like they weren't there, it was almost a bit Nino Messi-esque as well. I just think the role he's had for the team, he's had a real breakout season, and I think a lot of these team of the season cards are given to players with breakout seasons, and I think Michael Olise typifies that for the Championship this season. The second midfielder player for me getting the team of the season card is Ismaila Sarr. Now, I've got 2 right mids in the 4 midfielders, and I couldn't leave one of them out in my opinion. Sarr, when he's been utilised properly, he is absolutely deadly. In the start of the season, if it's because he was having a 5 at the back formation, he was almost putting Sarr at right wing back, which I don't think really suited his style. Since Munoz has come in, you know, he's still relatively defensive, but a lot more attacking now. He's pushed Sarr a lot further up, with him partnering up with Sirialta. Now Sarr looks so dangerous, and the player I expected to see from the Championship. The 2 goals he scored against Reading were absolutely sublime last weekend for me. I think he's done more than enough now, especially in the second half of the season, to provide himself with a team of the season card. In the left-hand side of the midfielder, I have got Arnaud Danjuma. Now, I knew he had quality. He's been around Bournemouth for quite a few years, but I think it's been this season where he's really stepped out of his show. And a bit similar to Olise, I think it's been a real breakout season for him. There's been a lot of standout players for Bournemouth, obviously Stanislas, Solanke, Billing, a lot of players, but Danjuma for me has been the most impressive. I even remember the stunner he scored in the opening day in the Championship with that 3-2 victory over Blackburn. And since then, he's been so on it every single game for Bournemouth. I remember where he scored the only goal in Bournemouth's 1-0 victory over Watford. He has got goals in very important games when it was needed. So for me, Danjuma is a must. He has to get a team for season. And on the right-hand side, I mean, it's probably obvious. Emiliano Buendia, for me, my player of the Championship this season, along with Ivan Toney. He was absolutely terrific. The first player to get double figures in goals and assists this season. He has just been ridiculous for Norwich. And what I really like about Buendia as well, he just makes things happen. I remember when Norwich were looking pretty flat against Preston, and then Buendia just turns into a magician, just dribbles around the ball and loops a first-time ball into the net. And some of his goals this season, just the technique he has as well. Very gifted player. For me, he more than deserves to get a team for season. So, we've got 2 positions left, and you may guess who these 2 players are, the 2 strikers. So, Adam Armstrong is getting one. Unbelievable season, really. He scored the most goals he has done for Blackburn in any other season this season. But the second player and the final striker who's going to get the team for season card for me is Ivan Toney. I mean, it's obvious. I think Armstrong and Ivan Toney have to get a team for season card. Whether they'll be in the starting 11, I don't think FIFA will do that. But FIFA should at least give both of them a team for season card Both have been absolutely incredible. Tony especially, who's only 1 goal away to equaling Glenn Murray's record. And I think he will overtake Glenn Murray's record as well. Just absolutely unbelievable. Another 2 players who've had breakout seasons. So, my starting 11 in terms of the team of the season are Tim Krul in goal, Toffolo left back, Hanley, Anderson, 2 centre backs, Max Aarons right back, Michael Elise and Ishmael Assars, the 2 central midfielders, the wide midfielders, Danjuma, Buendia, and the 2 strikers, Adam Armstrong and Ivan Toney. So these are my predictions for the FIFA 21 team of the season. I mean, I say it's predictions, it's my picks for team of the season. Knowing FIFA, they'll only pick 6 championship players, which really FIFA needs to sort out and care more about the championship in my opinion. So obviously that's my final squad who I think deserves a team of the season card. But one thing I'm going to do for you guys can exclusively give one more player a team of the season card. I've made a poll and the link is in the description down below. If you click onto that link, you'll be directed to a poll and you'll be given a list of players who I feel bad that I've missed out. Whoever gets the most votes will be given an extra team of the season card voted by the fans. So a bit of a community team for season 1. So make sure after you watch this video, you click on the top link in the description down below so that you guys can get your pick of one player to get a championship team for season card. But if you guys like what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel. It really make my day. And please share my channel to as many people as you can. All that would really make my day. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care everyone.